and move away from this conversation. IEBC is ready to roll as House Ok's commission, as we know now. We have that list coming on. The National Assembly yesterday approved all the 4 names of the nominees to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. MPs yesterday approved the nominees of Juliana Cherera, Francis Wanderi, Irene Masit, and Justus Nyang'aya as commissioners of IEBC after they were nominated by President Uhuru Kenyatta last month. And let's come to Wamatangi. What should be their focus now? I mean, IEBC quorum seems to be coming together now, but with just about 11 months to the election, what should they be focusing on now?
Well, Trevor, I hope to start with that assuages the anxiety that was caused during the rulings, the 2 rulings on the BBI, that finally IEBC could be on its way to being compliant, in quotes, so to say. Although, of course, and as was cited in law, in the constitutional provisions, that the commission is still legitimately composed or well constituted when it has the 3 commissioners. Notwithstanding, I think the finalization of the process that will see the rest of the commissioners in office is long overdue. I've said it here before, Trevor, that there is nothing that would be a bigger tragedy other than having an IEBC that is not prepared to deliver an election in August 2022 that is devoid of any malpractices or any shortcomings or any of the things we've seen in the past, from rigging to so many malpractices. And I hope that this team hits the ground running. I hope they have come in there with a clear mind, and I have no reason to doubt any one of them. I believe they've gone through the process correctly and properly. They've been vetted by Parliament and given the go-ahead. I would just want to be urging them that they have to ensure that once they get there, their focus must be one, because that's the main thing that's happening, that we need to ensure that August 2022 finds us ready to conduct the elections and give Kenyans the leadership they want, correctly, properly, and as elected, not as either organized or choreographed. And Trevor, as they do that, part of the few things that I believe and I hope IEBC will be taking care of now, before the elections, one would be on giving us a straightforward answer and action that we can be able to distinguish as tangible to resolving, one, the issue of the constituencies that in the Constitution and in our transition and dispensation do not meet the population quota. How are they going to be dealing with that? Are they going to be ensuring that we have a process now that is going to ensure that if they go and resolve and deal with the question of how have the constituencies which themselves have exceeded the quota, are they going to engage in delineation between now and election time, such that then part of the process of delineation could save some of the constituencies that would, by law, then being, phased out. What I mean, for example, Trevor, is this, that if you're looking at some of the constituencies that have got way much more than the required quota, and I would give an example, like in Kiambu, we have got 12 sub-counties. In those 12 sub-counties, more than 8 are way beyond the quota. Indeed, some of them are 3 times over. For example, Ruiru, we have almost 500,000 people in one sub-county. If we had a sub-county within Kiambu that does not meet the quota in the process of delineation, then we would see how those boundaries would be shifted to ensure that if you had a constituency that would probably suffer the fate of being lost, can be saved, and you also balance the others. And I believe that is what was on the minds of our constitution makers when they provided for that delineation. As the senator for Kiambu, and as a person who has been very keen and fighting in the battle that I started on the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling, I'll be taking it a level higher this time. And I have my eyes trained on IEBC to to see how they are going to resolve finally that question of ensuring that all the sub-counties, especially in Kiambu, Mount Kenya region, and urban counties, that this question has been finally resolved. They will tell us that as we go to the election, to ensure that we have equal representation, what will they tell the people of Thika? What will they tell the people of Kikuyu? What are they going to tell the people of Nyeri town? What are they going to tell the people of Kisumu and Mombasa? The people who have way exceeded that quota, are they going to be saying that we will go to an election whereby our people still are not adequately represented? That even when it comes to resource sharing through the CDF process, that those areas will still continue to be deprived. Is that the message they were giving us? To say then that finally we have a free and fair election? Because that will not be a free and fair election if that is the outcome. And I believe that it is their responsibility to resolve that. Otherwise, if they don't, then we'll have to find a way of resolving it.
Okay.
You know, this issue of IEBC is very important, because this is a country that for the last so many years, we've had post-election stress that even led to post-election violence. People have always talked about elections being stolen in this country, that in Ibiwa, rigging. We remember even during the Moi era, people used to talk about, you know, boxes being taken, counts being done. So there's been a lack of fairness in this country in terms of casting the vote and you know, and counting the vote. And people have always felt that it's unfair. If you look at the Kriegler report, if you look at the reports that have been published and the commissions that have been put in place about elections, they all talk about fairness. And fairness comes also with systems. And so when these 4 commissioners have been appointed, I want to wish them well and let them work well. But I want to tell them that now Kenyans are looking at them as the saviors of this country. We need to move on. We need to transition from the past to a new Kenya. A Kenya whereby you can vote, go home, and you're okay with whoever wins because you know that is the person who won. Haikuwa ati computer, haikuwa nini. So they need to create a sense of transparency, fairness, so that people feel like, yes, we voted. How does that come about? You know, they need to start early, let them hire the people who will be involved early, train them early. They need to be, IEBC need to be well resourced, have enough money. This thing of hatuna pesa ya kutosha tuachane nayo. You know, if we are serious about fair elections, let's give them the money that they require at this time. Once they have the money that they require, then it's going to be very, very easy for them to do their work. If they fail, then we know why they have failed. Now, the other thing that is, I've always said is that let's be creative here. You know, people say people cast votes. The problem is not the casting of the vote. The problem is the counting of the vote. And I've advocated, and this is the policy of Maendeleo Chapcha Party, where I'm the party leader. You know, and that is, let us have CCTV cameras. Let us allow people with cameras to record the vote count in every polling station. You know, we'll have maybe, what, 40,000 polling streams and whatever, 44,000. We have 40 million Kenyans. We can afford to have 2 Kenyans with cameras where the vote is being counted one by one by one by one. And then that is captured and recorded so that we are all counting at the same time. Hakuna mahali itaongezwa karatasi ati form A kuhesabiwa form B. Let us watch. Let's have a record of what is counted. So the winner is the winner. The loser is the loser. And very final is that IEBC needs to know that there are many malpractices that influence elections. Because of the poverty that we are in this country, watu wanaitishwa idea of 50 shillings, they don't go and vote. Other people are given money to go vote for somebody. And even during the election campaign, people are giving money. You know, I've never given money. I've never bribed a voter myself. And I'm very, very proud of that. I've never given anybody money. When I was running the second time, I went to an area where my main opposition person comes from. And unajua huko na dish pesa. Watu wakaniambia, last time tulikupigia bila kutupatia kitu. This time kama utupatia tukupigi, nikaambia msinipigie. Because we can't be a culture where you buy votes. But you see, people are able to buy votes because IEBC looks the other way. This is an election offense. You can't say, tutaenda kotini baadaye. You need to get people followed, If people are giving votes, they are giving money, people are being put together to be given money, those people need to be arrested and that candidate needs to be disqualified. Let's have a fair playing field whereby the poverty of people is not being used to confuse them and compromise them so they elect the wrong person just because they are hungry.
Okay.
And that's where the IEBC. So I urge the 4 new commissioners, and congratulations, plus the other commissioners in the IEBC, let's get our act together, let's have free and fair, and please allow us, even if, kama nyinyi hamwezi, allow Maendeleo Chap Chap to put a camera in every polling stream. We can afford it. We can afford it. We'll use the cloud, we'll put there, we'll use whatever systems, we'll record in every polling stream, and we'll tell Kenyans who won what seat and who lost what seat.
Okay.
Kama hamwezi, tuachie si tufanye. Because that's what Kenyans want. We want fairness.
Right.
Mimi nikishinda na ndugu yangu hapa 2022 when I'm walking to State House, I want people to know Mutua won.
Okay.
You know, not ati alifanywa nini ama huyu alilose. Okay. And then it is clear.
All right.
God willing.
And we know now the president has appointed the 4 new IEBC commissioners, the 4 approved by Parliament yesterday, and the president appointed them immediately. The Gazette notice came out last night. We know now they await being swearing in by the Chief Justice. And the 4 who I'm talking about are Juliana Cherera, Francis Wanderi, Irene Masit, and Justus Nyang'aya. They've now been officially appointed by the president. Now they await their swearing in. This is happening in real time. We've just gotten that paperwork coming through. The moment they were approved by Parliament yesterday, the president appointed them as well immediately, and the Gazette notice was also published there. Kagusha, we were coming to you on this issue of IEBC. Now they've already been appointed by the president. So then what should be in their entry right now as we speak?
You know, when you ask me that, I am taken aback. Recently, we had an election in Kiambaa, and when I went to sleep in the evening, very efficiently, we had been able to receive up to 151 results from 151 polling stations out of 154. Interestingly, when I woke up at around 5 a.m., we were at 153, and I wondered what was happening during the night.
Yeah.
Are you saying, even though the votes had been tallied in all the polling stations, we have only been able to receive in the last 8 hours 2 polling stations? And clearly, you could tell that someone is trying to play some games overnight. And that is why we say that you must do justice. And I want to say that these commissioners must do justice. And they must not just do justice, but justice must also be seen to be done.
Yeah.
And we have these ladies here and gentlemen whom I think have kind of been set for failure. You know, I like the urgency in which now they have been appointed after they were approved by the Parliament yesterday. But can you imagine, for 4 years we have had these vacancies and we are filling them this late in the day. Yeah. Are you not setting these people for failure? What are you telling them? Are you saying that these commissioners are now going to be oriented? They are going to understand the system? Do you know even the hiring of staff was stopped at some point for the commissioners to come on board? Does it mean then that we have to now start hiring new staff? You also know that we don't have a CEO for IEBC. They also have to start hiring an IEBC CEO now. After you have hired these people, then you will start procurement systems and processes. You're going to set up a structure and a system that is going to help us to have an election which has integrity in the next 10 months. You know, we need to be serious about these things. We are setting up these people for failure, and they might just be a very, very frustrated lot. Yeah. Because we have failed to plan, we have failed to prepare, we have failed to do the right thing at the right time. And now we are coming late in the day, you know, somehow rushing. And of course, we start rushing everything. Do you know by now we ought to have procured the system that is going to be used for vote tallying, relaying the votes? And by now we should be checking. We should be checking how it is. I remember recently listening to a certain political player saying that, oh, you know, as we are not looking for votes, we are only looking for the system because our votes are still in the server. And you know, when you start hearing those kind of things, that tells you that someone thinks that votes will be somewhere in the server and they will just be revived. Yeah. And these are the issues that we are talking about. What has bedeviled our elections over the years is the inability to plan, is the inability to prepare well, is the inability to use the right systems in the right way. And that's how we have ended up having some presidential candidates disputing the results based on the systems that we have had. And when, for example, we brought on board the BBI, which was supposed to fix the problem we have had after the elections, that is the post-election violence, one of the things that we ought to have seriously considered is also to fix the system that we use to do elections. Can you imagine we were preparing for a referendum that we did not have commissioners to conduct, up to the point where the judiciary raised issues. And some of the people think that the judiciary were wrong in raising issues with unpreparedness. You know, it was indicting this system, the IEBC system. And you see, we are not indicting the IEBC system because of its own misdeeds. It's because...
But Kagusha, what would be the alternative now? I mean, the court said that the IEBC is not fully constituted. We have around 11 months to the election. What would you have us do now?
You see, what we ought to have done is now what we are doing. The court is saying the IEBC is not properly constituted. Why? Because the IEBC did not have commissioners. IEBC was not supposed to get its own commissioners. Commissioners are given to IEBC through the process. Now, we constricted the process. We never hired commissioners for IEBC. Then the court say we don't have commissioners for IEBC. You know, you don't have 4, you have only 3 out of 7. Now, if you have 3 out of 7, you don't have 4 on board. I mean, the courts will only say just as it is. So now, what these commissioners need to do as they come to the office is miraculously somehow prepare themselves so fast, orient themselves, take themselves through the process, understand the process, and start setting up systems that have integrity. Systems that can be trusted. I really don't know how they do that. But within this short time, Trevor, they are expected to do it anyway. So let them do that. Let them also give the highest level of assurance that they are going to conduct an election that is transparent, an election that is fair, an election that is going to deliver results that can be accepted across board. Otherwise, if they don't do that, you'll have what Governor Mutua is saying, that him and Maendeleo Chapchap are ready, you know, to also be part of the refereeing. Never mind, they are also major players in the game. Are you getting? Why? Because Governor Mutua here doesn't want to have an election that is not going to be credible. You want an election that is credible. So IEBC, they must rise and do what is right. And again, the issue of budget also comes in. Are we facilitating them properly? Have we allocated sufficient budgetary allocation for them to conduct their activities? I think that is also very important. Because you can't expect them to do and conduct an election which has integrity and not allocate sufficient budgetary allocation for them. The other day we had them complain. Of course, we felt also they were asking for too much. But again, they need to be sufficiently
facilitated.
Facilitated.
All right. I have to take a quick break here on Daybreak. When you come back,